I use my daughter's college fund. Now she won't call me dad. I know this sounds terrible at first, but please let me explain before you judge me. I have a 14-year-old daughter from my previous marriage. Her mother and I separated when my daughter was about 12. The divorce was rough, and she very clearly sided with her mom. That hurt more than I expected because we had always been extremely close. Still, I reminded myself she was just a child caught between two parents. I never blamed her, and I continued making every effort to stay involved in her life. Spending time with her has always meant everything to me. A few years after the divorce, I met the woman who is now my wife. At the time, she was finishing her undergraduate degree and planning to attend law school. Her plan was to take out massive student loans to cover tuition. By then, we were serious about each other, and the thought of starting our marriage under a mountain of debt made me anxious. So I offered to pay for her education myself. She hesitated. She didn't want to feel like a burden, but I reassured her that we were building a future together. Eventually, she accepted. Here's where things get complicated. To cover those expenses, I used money that had originally been set aside in a college account for my daughter. My intention was never to take it away from her permanently. I fully planned to rebuild the savings over time. At that point, I honestly didn't think it would be an issue. Whenever college came up back then, my daughter insisted she had zero interest in university. She talked non-stop about becoming a professional makeup artist and even joked that traditional college was pointless. So I believed I had time. I began slowly contributing money back into the account each month, assuming I could restore it long before she ever needed it. But last weekend completely blindsided me. We were having lunch together when she suddenly started talking about advanced classes she was taking and how hard she'd been studying. I thought she was kidding at first. Academics had never been her focus before. Then she told me she was aiming for a computer science degree and wanted to apply to some very competitive private universities. She even talked about launching her own tech company someday. I was stunned. Then she asked a question I wasn't prepared for. Do I have a college fund? Should I get a part-time job now or focus on extracurriculars? I didn't want to lie to her, so I told her the truth, that the account existed, but it currently didn't have enough to cover something as expensive as a private school education. The moment the words left my mouth, her face fell. She started crying right there in the restaurant. Through tears, she accused me of choosing my new wife over her. Not once, but twice. First by breaking up our family and now financially. I tried to explain that she still had support, just maybe not at the level she was imagining, but she wasn't hearing it. Then things escalated. She began insulting my wife, calling her horrible names I won't repeat. That crossed a line for me. Frustrated, I snapped back and told her she shouldn't assume she'd get into an elite private university anyway, especially since she hadn't even cared about school a couple of years ago. The second I said it, I could tell it hit deep. She called me a terrible father and stormed off. I had to wait until her mother arrived to pick her up. Later that evening, my ex called absolutely furious. Apparently, my daughter has been excelling academically, even competing for a major science award, and according to my ex, my reaction proved I barely knew my own child anymore. At that point, I was emotionally drained and angry about how disrespectful my daughter had been toward my wife. So in the heat of the moment, I said something drastic. I told my ex I was considering canceling the college fund altogether if our daughter thought it was acceptable to behave that way. Now my daughter refuses to speak to me. She won't answer calls and has started addressing me by my first name instead of Dad. But the situation didn't stop spiraling there. After hearing what happened, my wife felt terrible, especially knowing her education had been paid using money originally meant for my daughter. Without telling me first, she called my ex to offer the remaining savings, about $45,000, to be transferred into an account controlled by my daughter's mother. The conversation went horribly. My ex interpreted it as charity and hung up angrily. Now my wife is upset with me for never explaining where the money had come from in the first place. She says I dragged her into a conflict she never asked for, and that she's emotionally exhausted trying to repair damage she didn't create. She's currently staying with her parents to get some space. Meanwhile, my ex is so angry that she's restricting my contact with my daughter entirely. She has primary custody, so legally there's not much I can do without going to court, which I'm now considering. And here I am, watching my relationships collapse one by one, wondering how everything unraveled so quickly. Because from my perspective, I never meant to hurt anyone. I thought I was building a stable future. I thought I had time to fix the finances. I thought my heart was in the right place. But now I'm sitting alone, questioning whether good intentions actually matter when the outcome hurts the people you love most. So tell me honestly, was I completely in the wrong here?